educate while you celebrate. That's what Mr. Kariem Haqq wants us to do. If you're not familiar with the 13th Amendment Freedom Week Manual, today you're going to learn all about it. Mr. Haqq, thank you for coming to Smiles.
And thank you, Stephanie, for having me.
You know what, now you didn't have any trouble finding our location. Everything was fine coming to East St. Louis, Illinois, right?
Yeah, it was pretty easy, really.
Okay, you know what, Mr. Haqq, and you have such a wonderful book here, and I couldn't exhaust everything in here, but I want you to help us understand, what is the 13th Amendment Freedom Week movement?
Well, the 13th Amendment Freedom Week movement is a cultural movement, and it's designed to establish a time here in America that we celebrate freedom based upon the 13th Amendment. Reason why the 13th Amendment, because the 13th Amendment is what actually ended slavery. It's the very first time in American history that everybody was legally free, all law-abiding citizens. And it doesn't matter what race, is no matter what religion, it's non-political. Everybody, all Americans who love freedom can participate in this.
You know, that's an interesting point, because when we talk about the ending of slavery and celebrating its ending, it seems like such a movement would be just dedicated to African Americans or black people, but that's not the case, huh?
No, America has a lot to offer in terms of understanding the principles of freedom. The thing is that it started in 1776 with us. A lot of black Americans, they don't see themselves in the Declaration of Independence, nor sometimes in the Constitution. But both of them had an impact on us getting our freedom. It started with Declaration of Independence, 1776, but it ended with the 13th Amendment. And so, because we were the last to be free, we should especially embrace this. But it's still an American holiday. It's part of the Constitution, part of the basic law of the land. It's just as American as apple pie. So it was put in the Constitution for us, but it was also put in there by our white Americans.
Okay.
So we all should be proud of it. And it has been a major benefit. I mean, it's actually helped to get us out of the chains and stuff like that. So the 13th Amendment is very important for us. And if we're going to celebrate freedom, we should celebrate a time when everybody's free, not when some people are free.
I see. Do this for me, if you will. Give us a brief overview of your book, the 13th Amendment Freedom Week Manual.
Well, the 13th Amendment Freedom Week Manual is the book. The 13th Freedom Week movement is based upon the manual. The manual outlines the movement and the celebration week. It's a 7-day event. The very first day, which is outlined in the book, people who participate it's called Abolitionist Day, where each participant will pick out an abolitionist or an institution or an event that had an impact on our freedom. And from there they would do the research, and they would study it and bring it back to the group. Everybody brings somebody different, and they would discuss the different individuals. So we'll learn about the abolitionists that day. The next day is the government day, forms of government, where we'll take the different forms of government that exist, and that because government is very important on whether or not people have freedom or not. And we will study the 5 basic forms of government. A lot of people don't realize it until they, you break it down, but it's only 5 basic forms of government that ever existed. And so we want to know what they're about, and so we can be able to tell which one is best and conducive towards freedom. The first form of government is called monarchy. That's when one person rules. The second form of government is called oligarchy. These are forms, and that's when a small handful of people rule. The third form of government is a democracy. That's where the majority rule, the people rule. The fourth form of government is a constitutional republic. That particular form of government is the only one where a particular thing rules.
Is your book written such that all age groups can benefit from it?
All age groups. It depends on how you just break it down to them. But like I was saying, it's the 5 basic forms of government. I talked about the first 4, and the last one is anarchy. That's when it's autonomous rule, where everybody just kind of on their own, family, clan, whatever. But a lot of people don't realize, out of those 5 basic forms of government, the one that we supposed to have here in America is not democracy. That's not the form of government we're supposed to have. The form of government we're supposed to have is a constitutional republic. It's a republic. And the particular thing that rules is law. So everybody's supposed to live under the law. So that's one thing that we have to understand. Now, the third day is talk about the different economic systems.
Okay.
And in my book, I explain the different economic systems and break them down and everything, because that's very important. Because if you're talking about freedom, you have to have the right type of government. You have to have the right type of economic system. And some forms of government are compatible with some economic system and some are not. So you just can't, you have to understand them, so you can't try to mix one form of government with another type of economic system that's incompatible with it, because it's total chaos. The next day is of the celebration, which is the 4th day, is where in my book I got all types of historical documents where people who were participating in this celebration week, they would take a particular document in their group and they would study it and they would talk about it and how it helped to impact our freedom. So it's an educational process, like I said, educate while you celebrate. So every day you're learning something. And the 5th day is when it's like awards day, or where people who are participating up to that point will probably get some type of award for their progress or their accomplishment or anything that they've done. Also, that particular day will be turned in a special project for genealogy. So whoever participate in the group, young and old, they will have a special project where they will try to go back and do a personal history of their family and try to bring that family together. And so this is helping to strengthen the family, get to know who your roots are and everything, try to trace it back to the slavery time or before. So this is, and this you update that every year, because it's an annual celebration. The 6th day is when we have festivities. That's when you have the bazaars, the games, the music, just everybody having fun and fundraise, whatever you want to call it. And that 7th day is where everybody just go to their place of worship and give thanks for our freedom.
Okay, let me ask you this. How does the 13th Amendment Freedom Week differ from Juneteenth?
Well,
the Juneteenth celebration.
Juneteenth is based upon the Emancipation Proclamation. The 13th Amendment Freedom Week celebration is based upon the 13th Amendment.
I see.
The 13th Amendment passed through Congress in January 1865, but it had to go through the states to be ratified. So it didn't get ratified to December 6, 1865. So Juneteenth came in June, and that's during the summer. So we celebrate Juneteenth in the summer, but the 13th Amendment we celebrate in December, more like the late fall or early winter.
Right, right.
The Juneteenth came about with the people in Texas. That was really started off as a Texas celebration, because after Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which was effective January 1st, 1863, it was only for the states that was rebelling. It was 15 slave states, I'm sorry, but only 11 rebelled. So it only covered those 11 slave states that rebelled. It didn't have anything to do with the other 4 slave states that didn't rebel. It was really more than 4 slave states, but they didn't rebel. So the Emancipation Proclamation did not cover them. Some of those states didn't get their freedom until the 13th Amendment.
Okay.
So as those states, they had to be defeated, those states that rebelled. So after Lee surrendered to Grant, and then the next thing, a few weeks later, somebody else surrendered, and it started in Virginia, went on down through Alabama and North Carolina, and all those southern states,
Right.
and then it got on around to the farther states away, like Louisiana and Texas and Arkansas. And that didn't get to them till June. So every time somebody surrendered, somebody else would come back a week or two later and read the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
So that's what happened in Texas in June around the 19th. And that's why they celebrate that. So the 13th Amendment came after that because slavery was still legal in several states up until the 13th Amendment.
Okay. How can our viewing audience get a copy of your book?
Well, if anybody interested in getting a copy of my book, they can call 314-537-4169. Or they can go to one of the local bookstores like Progressive Emporium and Educational Center at 1108 North Sarah in St. Louis, or Afro World at 7276 Natural Bridge, that's in Normandy. Or they can go on Amazon.com and get it. There's different ways if anybody interested in the movement. They can also call 314-537-4169.
Thank you, Mr. Haqq, for coming to Smiles Television Talk Show. And I ask all my guests, when you come back, you'll come back again?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, then we have you on tape, so you said you'll be back, and we're going to expect to see you again. And it's been a pleasure talking with you. And you have a great day.